Welcome everybody to the newest AMA on the Seedify HODLers channel. Today we have people from the realms of Eternity, and we have Justas Pikelis, the DIG president, and none of other than Jordan Belfort. You may know him as the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, I don't want to be the main part in the AMA, so I don't think that anything has to be established before. So I'll let you introduce yourself, just as Jordan, and thank you, Marcus, for joining me today too. So just go ahead and say who you are, why do you enter into crypto, and go ahead. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi guys, thank you very much for inviting us. My name is Justas Pikelis. I'm the president of Decentralized Investment Group, the company that owns Realms of Ethernity, which we here joined to discuss and tell you about. We're extremely excited about this. I personally have been in the crypto space since 2013. In 2016, I started building a crypto company, an Ethereum-based payment processor, which I later sold in 2020. And right now I'm a part of DIG and a part of Realms of Eternity, together with Jordan, who is our global ambassador.
So I guess I probably don't need much of an introduction. You all know who I am. I've been in finance since I'm in my early 20s, which is way too long ago. I was very bearish on crypto in 2016, 17 for a lot of reasons. But I never was bearish on blockchain. I was bearish on the appreciation of Bitcoin. I was really concerned about sovereign risk. And I think we're way past that point right now where the United States or G20 is going to be shutting Bitcoin down. I don't think it's possible anymore. So in the last few years, I've been really digging into the space. I started buying Bitcoin in large amounts, then Ethereum, and then sort of this progression of it. First you go with Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then it goes into DeFi. Obviously, you all know I'm involved with NFTs, then of course the metaverse. And I came across DIG, which owns this game, Realms of Eternity. And I was very skeptical, I'm always skeptical whenever I see anything. And I literally looked up these guys' assholes with a microscope, brought in some of the top investors in the world in the gaming business. My partner, Yoel Altman, was PokerStars, had a $15 billion cash out. I had him look at the game and the team, and I wouldn't say to my surprise, but I was happy when I found out that he thought it was unbelievably awesome, perfect time. Best tokenomics, everything. So I dove in full on with this idea, and I've watched this thing blossom over the last few months. So it's an exciting time. It really is. I think it's a really important industry, this play to earn, and I think that Realms of Eternity is going to be one of the biggest players in that industry.
Okay, thank you for introducing.
Thank you very much for that. Welcome to this AMA, Jordan and Justas. It's very good to have you both here. It's our pleasure to meet you all. It's incredible to see if you look at the developments of Bitcoin and Ethereum over the past, let's say, 10 years. I think even a bit longer actually. At the start, nobody believed that in it, and right now, you can't really get around it anymore. So it's really nice to see that both of you are involved with Realms of Eternity. So if you would have to introduce Realms of Eternity, let's say give a short pitch about the project, also share a bit of information about your personal involvement with the project, and especially also how you all got connected. So Jordan and DIG, and then also Realms of Eternity. What would you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, about the game, it's people should imagine kind of a World of Warcraft type of game, right? The massive multiplayer MMORPG open world that is built with blockchain, right? Blockchain technology, where players can truly own the items, truly own the stuff in the forms of NFT inside the game, and earn tokens while playing it, meaning like they exchange the work that they do in order to mine the items, in order to even steal the items, whatever the method that they choose. And communities are also like an extremely big component of the game. That's why we want to, talk with your community and involve them, because we already have like 70,000 people inside the Realms of Ethernity community. And, because players in this game, they will interact like any other classic MMORPG, and they will be able to explore the map, kill monsters, play against environment, play against other players, play against the group of players, create clans. It's an extremely feature-rich game that we're building right now. And for us, for me personally, I'm involved in this with the holding company, a Decentralized Investment Group, and Decentralized Investment Group has acquired a 70 people team in Vietnam called Wild Thunder Studios, who are developers behind this project. So I personally oversee the strategy of DIG, the promotional aspects of it, the money raising. But right now, Realms of Ethernity is our flagship product, and we're focused on making this an extremely large success story.
So yeah, I would look at this game as being a cross between it's Worlds of Warcraft meets Axie Infinity. So it has that sort of high density, really cool graphics and wild storyline of a Worlds of Warcraft. But unlike Axie Infinity, which is the play to earn model, but the game itself is kind of bogus. I mean, the game, no one would ever play that game if there was not a play to earn attached to it. That's the only reason people do it. So imagine a game that makes you want to play because it's totally cool in every way, but also has the play to earn features, that virality that allows people to really like it. For example, I know in the Philippines, they have a lot of fans there. I've watched so many kids actually lives get changed by doing this play to earn game of Axie. So when you combine those two together, I think it's a very, very powerful force. And this game is perfectly positioned to really be the first game that has that a real game. It's not just like, okay, let's do this to this play to earn. So it combines the best of both worlds. I got involved with the company almost by accident. I was, in a chance meeting, I met the founder of the company, and he was a fan of mine, and flew me out to Dubai and said, check this out. And again, as I said before, I was very skeptical at first, but I did massive due diligence to the point where I put my own money in, invested my own money into this project. And also I just, basically helped them. I basically, helped them finish, in a big way, this recent capital raise they did. We, raised a bunch of money, massively oversubscribed, all the big funds coming in. So this is really shaping up just to be a major game. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I'll be intimately involved with really on the actual promotion of the game itself. Nothing to do with the token, just the actual game, players. I'm very active in the esports world, so I'll be seeing this thing through to the end, if there is one.
That sounds very, very interesting. We all know that you're the lead advisor in Realms of Eternity. How are your views on the blockchain gaming? Do you think that it's gonna be better than the traditional gaming? And do you think that the esports are gonna enter the blockchain gaming? Since you mentioned that you are into it.
Sure. I have large stakes in two different esports companies, both one of them public, one of them about to go public. One professional esports, one amateur esports. The answer is definitely there will be entering the space for sure, and probably sooner than you think. Here's my view on it. I think that ultimately you're going to find two worlds. You're going to have the world of all the play to earn games, and you'll have the worlds of the old style traditional games that aren't play to earn. I think at the end you'll see the play to earn model dominate the industry by 80-20 of 5 to 10 years. And I'll tell you why I think that's so. In the same way everyone's looking at the metaverse and Web3 as being the next way where giving the internet back, the power back to the creators and the users. Okay. Essentially, we have all these people around the world that have played all these video games. I watch my kids do it. They spend countless hours playing, and at the end they own nothing. They have nothing to show for it except maybe some, worthless in-game, currency they can't do anything with, really, or very limited. This model allows people who are sitting there playing and having the fun and the addiction of a game to actually make money at it and compete for real world dollars. I mean, things like ultimately, fungible into dollars. So I think that when you add that that component on, I would think that, typically if you look back in history, financial incentives, where incentives go, people end up going, industries gravitate towards, and the model is just too powerful to ignore. So there's going to be some, I'll tell you what there's going to be. It's going to be a very slow adoption curve from the big companies because they're too big. They're lumbering giants. They cannot pivot that quickly. So like in the same way when we watched the movie Titanic, right? And when they spot the ice and we're saying, shit, he's ringing the bell, turn the boat. And everyone's like, why isn't the boat turning? Why? But meanwhile, they're swinging the wheel to the right. They're reversing the engines. But a ship that giant does not turn on a dime. And it just keeps going and going and going. And will hit the iceberg. Well, I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these big video game companies because they simply cannot pivot quickly enough, and they're going to miss this wave. They'll be caught behind. Ultimately, they'll suffer greatly. I think the future is play to earn. Ultimately, everyone's going to get that, but it's going to take time.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's going to take time.
I think you just described what all of us are thinking, and I think that's the main reason why most of us are in blockchain gaming. This whole sense of ownership. You spend your time, you spend your money. I still remember those days, long time ago, where we spent thousands of dollars in a game, and then you stop the game and everything is gone. It's illegal to sell your assets. It's illegal to sell your account. You can't do anything. You quit. It's gone. It's just such a shame.
I say to my son used to play like crazy. I'd say, if you keep playing, you're never going to get laid. I mean, what are you playing? You're playing video games all day. I didn't know how popular video games have become. That was like 10 years ago, right? But this really, to me, honestly, it turns it on. Like, give me another example. I'm good with metaphors, right? If you go online and you try to sell a course about learning, you'll sell, X number of products. If you take that same exact course and turn it into a business opportunity, allow people to make money with it, you'll sell 100x of the same course. As soon as you add a money-making component to anything, there's like 100x factor that comes onto it with engagement, ownership. So I think that's what you're seeing happening. When you guys know Axie Infinity, that game, come on. I mean, like it's a little Pokemon fighting, right? Imagine, as this matures, I think it's going to be just a massive opportunity. Beginning of the beginning, I believe.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm not going to express my mind too much about Axie Infinity. There's a lot of people playing that, but I think you're spot on with what you're saying about the game, and also
I think brilliant people. Axie Infinity. I'm not bashing them, but let's just face it. It is what it is. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just is what it is, right? It's not a visually appealing game, but yet that they were so smart of coming up with that economic model. It changed everything. Yeah. So all the power to them.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally right. So when you compare Realms of Eternity, let's say, with other blockchain games, I mean, we've mentioned Axie here, but there are hundreds of games out there. How would you say that Realms of Eternity is going to make an absolute difference in comparison to those games?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that comes down to is the team and like the plan of execution. So Realms of Eternity has been started just over 6 months ago. But the way that, we have a large team, we have a lot of funding, just closed our seed round of $14 million. And again, Jordan has been a big part of that raise, also contributed with his own money. But the thing is that we're planning to release our alpha version first quarter next year. So we're taking our time. What's happening right now in the industry, a lot of what has been happening is that projects are trying to ride the wave of play to earn. So they're scrambling and they're trying to build the game as quickly as possible without really paying attention and focusing on the quality of the game. So if you would check our trailer, if you would check our gameplay, you would see that it's a AAA grade quality game. And this is where we're trying to differentiate ourselves. As Jordan mentioned, like, you're not going to see a big difference between this game and the large studios quality when it comes to the visuals and the storyline, and extremely feature rich game. So these are like, if I would have to establish one thing, how we're different, I would say it's the quality of the game.
Yeah, that's what for sure. I agree with Justice 1,000%. Now, anyone that just wants to check it out, just watch it. That's when we were doing this raise, right? The biggest institutions, the top ones, came into this. Really well-respected funds came into this. It was the smart money, not the dumb money, right? I don't mean that in a bad way to anyone, but just was the smartest money came into this game. And all you had to do is show them the video, like what the game actually looked like, the actual game itself. And the second part, which I'll mention there, which Justice did, is the tokenomics of the game. So what's happened here is because of, myself and the guys are they're like long-term players, everyone has locked up their tokens. Everyone is really in this for the long term. Before I put my name on this thing, I made sure everyone is literally lock, stock, and barrel. So the whole way, the tokenomics have been devised, how there's these long cliffs, long lockups. It's going to prevent this thing from, no one can make money on this thing in the short term. The only way we make money on this is over the long term by building an incredibly beautiful game that's fun to play, that works on the actual earning level, right? And that has sustainability. So this is a game where everyone's motivation is only, the game has to work. It's not like a quick, boom, oh, we made some money in the next game, right? I think it's very rare in this industry. And I think that's what Justin was saying when we're taking our time. This is not about just, let's just go and say we have a game, launch a token, make some money next. There's a lot of that going on as well, right? This is a very different, this is like, really a 2 to 3 year play, at least for me, okay, before I would consider selling, something like that. That's how I look at it. I know management feels the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Just before George is moving on, I think you're making an absolute valid point here. Most people are jumping into pre-sales, private sales, public sales, and then a lot of people are expecting, okay, hey, these guys are going to list, let's say in April or May, and they think they will earn their whole investment, plus 10x back, in 2 months after that.
Yeah, I think people that invest their money, they want to sell, great. They should take a profit if they want to, right? I'm talking people, investors, right? But insiders, all the insiders here are locked up and they are playing the long game, right? And that's, I think, when I look at a deal, there's 2 things I look at in any deal I invest in, right? And if I put my name on something, I can't afford a scandal, right? I've rehabilitated my name in an incredible way over 20 years of really hard work, right? So before I put my name on something, listen, who knows if something's going to become the biggest game in the world? No one knows that until it's out and it's played, right? But in terms of it being legitimate, everyone working towards this long-term vision to make this the biggest game in the world, right? All of that, all those boxes have been ticked in a very, very strong way. And I look at the players, the people who is running this company. Not only is this team, which is a young team, by the way, I brought in myself the most successful people in gaming. So the biggest names in gaming are involved in this company as advisors. They're coming to work for this company. There's going to be another round, even much bigger behind this at some point down the road, which will raise and real. This is really going to be a very, very serious force in the industry. And I think that when you look at the players that are behind this game, you do a little digging, you'll see that, wow, like this CTO from one of the biggest gaming companies in the world joined up, and that's the people you're going to see involved with this.
Oh yeah, I agree in that. And now going into the realms of Eternity core aspects, if a gamer like myself comes and discover realms of Eternity, what can I expect about it? Do I need something to start playing, or can I just hop in the game?
So our philosophy is that anybody can play this game. It's free to start to play, and it's free to play. But if you want to get to the next level, there's a few ways of how you can do that. So first of all, you can do that through your work. As mentioned, like mining, finding minerals, finding precious metals, and then crafting your own weapons. Also, as mentioned, feature rich. So you will be able to fight the environment. There will be bosses, levels of bosses, and again, trying to create this game in a way that it would be easy to play. Anybody could start playing it, because as you know, there are some games that if you don't start playing them straight away, you're going to miss the train. Like the skill, you're not going to catch up to the skills and the development of other players. So we're trying to make this game equal, meaning that it's easy to start playing it. It's difficult to master it. It's free to play. But if you want to expand, if you want to, make your avatar more beautiful, give them, weapons, give them some sort of skins. You're able to buy that. You're able to craft that. You're able to put in the work and create that. So every single item in the game is going to be an NFT. So, and again, like all of this wrapped up in a way that it would be interesting for the players to play. So it's not only features and it's not only tech aspects behind it, which we're looking at it, and the security, you know, these are our priorities. But the main thing, a game has to be fun to play. And to Jordan's point, some of these play to earn games, people would never play them if there would be no financial incentive. So we want to create a game that, you know, like a little bit of a decourse from that, but who has done a great job with NFTs? It's the NBA Top Shots, right? Because people did not know that it's blockchain behind it, that it's NFTs behind it. They just enjoy the experience. So we're trying to do the same thing. We're building in the way that people will enjoy the experience. And then if they're interested, if they want that, we supplement that with the financial incentive, with the financial economic aspect. And that's going to make this game, you know, be on steroids.
One thing I would also
exactly
say. Yeah, I'm sorry, keep going. One thing I was going to add to that is I agree with that 100%. I think there's another thing that you can look at Axie Infinity and the earlier games is that, you know, we're in some ways standing on the shoulders of geniuses, right? You know, these people have uncovered an incredible market here, a liberating market, but they also, because they were first, they made some fundamental errors. Everyone who's first does. It's often not the people who first come into the market and that blaze the trail that ultimately end up being the biggest players in that market. That fact is very rare that the first player, you look at the internet, right? Just look at Google, came after 8 other search engines. Then finally they figured it out from the other mistakes of others that led the path, right? I think that, you know, we've seen a couple of things. Number one, you look at Axie and you see what they did right, what they did wrong. We saw some of their predecessors, what they did right, what they did wrong. And this combines basically all of the learnings from that. So, you know, the team has been very, very shrewd in that regard. And again, the players that they have actually running this, people actually building the game and advising at a very high level. I brought in some really, again, a very close friend of mine who's been really instrumental in this capital raise as well. You know, he's probably one of the most well-respected people in the entire gaming industry from a financial perspective. You know, the guy had one of the biggest companies in the world and got bought out. And he's really brought like just AAA players to the actual building and advising and the tokenomics. That's so crucial, I think, for the sustainability of the game. And on top of that, also the security to make sure that there are no hacks by making, you know, learning, seeing what's happening with an Axie and just all of this stuff. I really think that it puts us in a position right now where while we might be a smaller company, thanks to myself and Yoel, we're incredibly well funded. So like we have the firepower of a big company in terms of the best engineers, to hire the best people, the most marketing. So there's so much money behind this company, and that don't look at that as being insignificant. It's very significant that we can pay for the best and attract the best. That's exactly what we've been doing.
Yeah, I think you guys both nailing it on the head here. What we need, you know, like fun to play. You know, we need to have the best people on board to create the best games. You know, being the first is no guarantee. You know, you are the last man standing in this world. You know, because it's so new and so developing. You know, and if I'm truly honest myself, if I look at the games over the past 12 months, I think I've played one out of the multiple hundreds that I have seen, and that was only because it was paying well. You know, but not because there were fun aspects in the game around. So I think the market is really looking for those fun aspects right now. And also, you know, the NFTs, you know, the decentralized ownership, you know, what people are looking for, you know, the token control within the game. So how would you, what can you say about the decentralized aspects within Realms of Eternity, and also the role of the token? Because it's also a bit new in comparison to traditional games, you know, where you have in-game currencies, which modern blockchain games also have, but they also have a token, which is basically a currency that's traded on the market. So how do you guys place this within Realms of Eternity?
So when it comes to decentralization, there are a few aspects. The first aspect is that every item in the game is going to be an NFT. So you'll be able to hold it, you'll be able to sell it, you'll be able to show it off, and it's going to be at your own ownership, in your custody. The second thing is, you know, when it comes to decentralization, is the is the metaverse aspect. So we're combining the blockchain gaming, NFTs, and metaverse. You will be able to own the land. You'll be able to rent out the land. You're gonna be able to make changes in the land. So we want to create the game that would be, yes, it is created by us, but we're giving the power to the users, and we're trying to be not that middleman that takes a certain not a certain cut, but basically owning the game. We want the players to own the game. We want the players to own the realms of Ethernity realms, if that makes sense. So that's the main decentralization aspect. And when it comes to the token, yes, we have two tokens. One is a governance token, and the token that represents the game, the token that you'll be able to trade on decentralized exchanges once we do the token generation event, and then the centralized exchanges, because we understand that it's important for us to onboard as many users as possible. We're looking at this game that we want to have those scalability issues. We want to have millions of players playing this game, and in order for them to really be attracted, token is a great tool to do so. So the token will be in centralized exchanges. We have connections with several of the largest exchanges in the world, and that's how you get to the mass adoption. That's how you attract the majority of the blockchain gamers. And there will be gold coins, which is an in-game currency that the players will be able to earn. So we're embracing decentralization, and that's basically in our name, right? The company that owns Realms of Eternity, Decentralized Investment Group.
Yeah, I think decentralization is incredibly powerful, but also, there are certain aspects that need to be controlled from, at least some semi-autonomous, it is a DAO for so to speak, right? But again, the main feature here, and I think you can sum it up in one word, is ownership. Is that the people that are playing this game are owners of the game themselves, and and I'm involved with a couple of other really, really solid Web3 companies. And that is the common thread to the people that really understand Web3 and are building these, just spending these huge amounts of money coming into this space, incredible interest. We have an old saying on Wall Street, institutional money is smart money. Even when it's not, it's enough to fuel the market anyway. So, I will tell you this, there is so much smart money coming into this space, and it's all about ownership. People are looking at the internet and saying, okay, great, but if they just imagine this, okay, with a bit of a redo involved, because it kind of sort of got, this second level, it ended up centralizing all the power to a few big companies, right? No one likes that. Everyone knows it's intuitively wrong. We feel it, we sense it every day. It frustrates us, right? And that's why all of this money is flowing in. Like, what's the metaverse like? Who knows? But I will tell you this, it's going to be about ownership. That's what it's going to be about. And that's what this game is built on, that the players themselves own the game. And they can actually, it can't be taken from them. Their work essentially is indelibly theirs. And that's what the NFTs are all about, because the NFT is about ownership. It proves ownership, right? And it proves provenance. And I personally, just so you know, in terms of the actual launch of the game, I'm going to be going around the world with the management doing contests. There's going to be really cool stuff going on. So I just love the esports world. So I plan on being integrally involved in the actual launch with contests and doing really, really cool stuff, and traveling, not just to the Philippines, but I'm telling you, we want to break this game into all over the world. This is not just for people doing play to earn.
Yeah, and to add to Jordan's point, the internet had to be like the way the Web3 is built, and it's people are saying it's narrative, but it's always a narrative before it becomes a tangible thing, before it becomes a tangible technology, and it's forming in that way. When you're thinking about the internet had to be built this way, like with decentralized ownership. People had to own it. It's not one corporation that owns it, because at some point we are a little bit in this kind of a monopoly that the internet is being owned by the Googles of the world and the Facebooks of the world, and it's about time for people to take power back into their hands. And getting back to what Jordan just ended his monologue with is that he said that, we're going to create these contests, and he's very involved. And I have to say, at first, Jordan, before signing the contract with us, he was very reluctant, and we've made him a believer. Together with not only us, but also the people who are the experts of the field, said that this is a legit game, and we're very proud that a person like Jordan is on board.
Jorge, Marcus, just imagine how many times I get pitched a day by people with this stuff. Okay? I literally get pitched 100 deals a day. It's unbelievable. In my inbox, I get people offering me $200,000. I just put my profile picture with their NFT. I never do it. Right? Because my brand is so invaluable to me. And frankly, I think most projects are out there simply to separate people from their money. And then there's the great ones where the people really building something, and they're easy to spot out. And the first thing you look at is the tokenomics, okay? Who is locked up? Follow the financial incentives, okay? And also, do any of these people in this thing have histories of rug pulls or short term? You get it? So this is like, the group here. And there's even these people behind the scenes who are literally, I'm just telling you, some like the who's who in the world of gaming, and they'll be, and they won't be behind the scenes for very long. It's just some of them are new to the company and just getting involved in signing contracts. So it's a really exciting time. Sometimes you can't figure out why something gets critical mass. I've scratched my head sometimes. Why does something take off? I look at Realms of 30. The game is beautiful. You send someone the game, they watch it, they're like, fuck. It's amazing, right? You show the tokenomics. Yeah, the tokenomics are exactly what they should be. But there's more than something else. There's also an X factor. Who knows what that X factor is? Is it the name? I'm not sure. Something about this deal that every major fund, all the smart money, looks at this deal and they just say yes. And I've showed them other deals that I'd love to. They're like, yeah, that's good, but this is something that emotionally connects people to this game, and it's right place, right time, right title, right look, and everything else that goes on top of that. So I'd be really, really surprised if this doesn't become something pretty awesome.
And the thing is that we closed the $14 million round very quickly. We were oversubscribed, and you have to understand that this is not the peak of the bull market. People are a little bit right now, they cooled off and they're reluctant sometimes, to invest money. But for us, this round has been fairly quick and efficient.
I'm cutting all my friends back every single day. Just so you know, I had to cut them all back. Yeah, everyone. And we still got people mad. My friends are mad at me. I'm like, but the best part is this is a couple that said, no, I can't wait for 3 months from now. Oh my God, this is the best thing ever, because I have 2 or 3 friends that are just lazy, skeptical bastards, right? And I love them. They're close friends. I just can't wait to this thing, not making projections. Oh, really? Okay. Next time, don't say no, right?
No, never say no. You both talk that we will own the game with the NFTs, and it will be like our game. And you also talk about the tokenomics. Players have like 2 fears: the tokenomics and the security. And talking into the security, players like to feel safe and comfortable. Could you maybe enlighten them a bit about the security measures that you are taking in the realms of Ethernity?
Let me just say, let me say one thing real quick, because I'll let Justice explain this. I want to just say one word. I was having this conversation with Yoel last night. We were out for dinner, right? And one of the things we're going to be doing in the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to be bringing on all the top people in the world. Like it's going to be the A team, because we watch what happened with Axie. I'm sure you did too, Justice. And that has, listen, nothing, hackers are smart, right? They're ingenious, but this is going to be the most security conscious game. There's going to be a lot of money and attention paid to that. I'll let you take it from there, Justice.
Yeah, guys, it's a dinner every night with you and Yoel, huh?
I know. Exactly. Our wives, his girlfriend, my wife are good friends. So yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to security, we're taking very seriously, and it's not just only words. The people who are auditing our smart contracts are top of the field. A company called Certic. They're based in New York, over 200 employees. Actually, it's funny, just yesterday they closed a round of $88 million from Goldman Sachs. So it's a very respectable firm. The smart contract audit has already been done, and it's a continuous relationship. You can have all the great things in the game, right? You can have the experience, you can have the tokenomics, you can have the visual aspect, and we have all of that, but it means nothing if the game is going to be, not only unsecure, not only liable to hacks, but also, if the game is going to be not scalable. So we're preparing everything in a way that we would accommodate, we would be able to accommodate millions of players. Of course, that's not going to happen overnight, but the infrastructure that you lay right now is the infrastructure that is going to carry you in a few years, and you won't be able to make some changes, because you have to understand, this is also being built on blockchain, right? So what happens on blockchain stays on blockchain. So some of the decisions, some of the strategic and infrastructure decisions that you make right now may hurt you in the future. And I had this experience with my previous companies, and trust me, you don't want to make those mistakes ever again. So it's our top priority.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand it with the blockchain. Once you deploy a smart contract, for example, you're very limited, in how you want to change things. So it's very good to think about this whole strategy right from the start. Have it all implemented well. So I think it's been really fun, and the talking has been going on really nice. I think we should also give a little bit of time to the community to ask some questions. And before we head over that, I'm just going to wrap the last two questions up into one. Which is basically, okay, let's assume we could all see in the future, like 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, where do you guys see realms of eternity, blockchain gaming in general? I think we've had a few words about this in the start as well, also from Jordan, how things are developing, and it is the future. So we have had part of that already, but just adding a little bit, and also the other side of the team, you mentioned something about the development studio that you guys are working with. Would you care to say a little bit more about that part of the team, and also other people that are involved that you think are good to share to the viewers?
Yeah, so I'll just start off, with the latter, which you mentioned, the team. So the team is based in Vietnam. There's 70 people there. Most of them, they're just like, all of them actually are working on Realms of Ethernity. So we bring in from other subsidiaries that we have, because under the DIG's umbrella, we have almost 250 people. So there are developers, there are smart contract developers, there are marketeers. So it's a machine that, right now it's all focused on Realms of Ethernity, but specifically when it comes to storyline, when it comes to the graphics, when it comes to the game development, the gameplay, etc., the core team is in Vietnam. And so some of the people who are not educated and quite ignorant in the space, they ask, like, Vietnam, like it might not be the highest quality professionals there, but trust me, people who are like Axe Infinity started in Vietnam, so 70 people there. I communicate with them almost daily, and these people live and breathe games. They're just geeks of games. They've learned from the mistakes that other production studios have done, and I'm very proud of their work. And when it comes to like the general, let's say, vision of what Realms, or even let's take blockchain gaming, for example, in the next 5 years, I think Jordan is actually a great person to answer this, because he might not look 60, but you're turning 60, Jordan, right, this year?
Soon enough, yeah, right. Well, I'm like, listen, all the women I'm with say I'm really immature. I'm like actually 15 years old, so they all accuse me. You're so mature. So I'm really like, I combined to like 35 or something,
Yeah, you've been playing games, when games were just like pixels on a few pixels on the screen, and then again,
I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna tell you something really funny. It's a true story. I remember my father. You guys, none of you were born yet. My father came home one day and he brought Coleco Pong, and he brought home this box, and he put it on the TV. We're like, what the fuck? It was like the most. Wait, you could play video games on your TV? Boop. boop, boop, and we fucking played for like 10 hours a day until our eyes were square, like literally, right? And it was just the most unbelievable thing to watch that, and you know, the early engagement and how that developed into a place where the industry passed me by. They got so complex I couldn't play the games anymore. You ever try to play some of these games? And that's one of the things with Realms. It's also easy to play. It's being designed very, very easy to play. You don't have to be a genius to play some of these games. Like, God, you have worked at NASA to play the game, right? So, you know, it's easy to play as well. And I've watched the gaming industry, you know, really come to this spot now where it's finally, you know, went to this, you know, more complex, and suddenly disruption came in the form of an Axie Infinity, right? And now we see this entire industry, these lumbering giants, all trying to pivot, and they're Titanics. I believe, to answer your question directly, I think that Realms is going to be a very, very important game in this whole space. It's going to be the first or one of the first games that actually looks amazing, that it's awesome to play, that you would play even if you weren't making money playing the game. That's the goal. And I don't put my name, my brand behind something very easily. So I plan on using my name and my brand to get players. You know, I don't care about the token. That's not my concern. That will take care of itself with a successful company. I'm talking about promoting the game to players to play that. That's where I would like to use my brand most. I'm going to be out there like all over the world promoting this game, running contests. I have 2 companies that do that, public companies. So I think this is the future. I really, really do. And I think that behind this, there'll be other games that this company is going to release as well. But for right now, all eyes are on Realms of Ethernity. It's a yeoman's job. Everyone's 24/7 on this right now.
Yeah, and Jordan, you know, over the last few months or even a year, I've noticed that, you know, you talk more about not only blockchain gaming, but gaming in general on your podcast. You have a few gamers. Have you seen that, you know, in your, and I'm pretty sure you track the data of your audience, meaning, you know, the demographics of it and, you know, the interests. Have you seen the surge in gamers in your social media?
Oh, I mean, I think it's almost like it's a little bit of the reverse. Like I always had those crowd, like that's my demographic is young, you know, skews male. But I just had Kat Gunn on my podcast last week. She's the top female gamer in the world, right? Legend. She's going to be joining the board of Realms. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. Right, we'll talk to her today. I think she's awesome, by the way. Love her too. I shouldn't speak that fast. But I know her. She's a force, the girl, and I respect her. And I to me, what I see happening in my brand is that I am being approached. I was by all the people in this industry because I connect. My crowd is probably 15 years old to 35 is my core audience. I have fans of all ages, but that's my big core. So for me, it's congruent. So I started having more gamers on my podcast. And as it's become known, I was very bearish in blockchain on crypto in the past. When I turned bullish, right, it was just sort of the spontaneous combustion occurred. So like right now, again, I'm almost thinking about taking my podcast and just making like the Wolf of Crypto, by the way, because it's like I have all these crypto people that want to come on. I'm getting constant. When I do a crypto podcast, it's 10 times the number of people watching it. So at some point, I'll probably do that.
Okay, you said that the Realms of Eternity is a game, and then the tokens is the other part of the game. And I think that having this point of view into the game and the blockchain is key to a success, because there are more traditional gamers than blockchain gamers. So if you manage to attract the traditional gamers and then make them join the blockchain, I think that's the key to success. And you mentioned it a lot of time during the AMA, and I think that's the best part of the Realms of Eternity, that it's going to be an awesome game, and then the tokenomics and the blockchain is like more secondary maybe, but it will attract both type of gamers. So thank you for answering all our questions. We appreciate it. Now we're going to go with the community questions. I know that people want to ask a lot of things. So thank you again, and we can just start with the first question. You can see it here if you can read it. Samuel asked, "Do you have plans to promote the game between streamers and YouTubers?" I suppose he wants to know, for example, the Spanish-speaking ones, or the English-speaking, the Vietnamese, the Chinese, and everything.
Por supuesto. Rosario. That's of course in Spanish. I speak Spanish. My wife is from Argentina. Yeah.
I'm from Spain. I'm from Spain. Okay.
Yeah, getting back to that, decentralization and distribution, right? Of course, there will be communities that are not only English speaking. We want to make this a global game, and in order to do that, we see that people, token. It's not only for people to kind of trade it, and then when the value wait until the value increases. It's an economic incentive for people to also to promote the game. They're interested in the game, and the way that, and I've done this in my previous company where we've acquired so many users through these distributed communities that we're speaking Spanish, that we're speaking Turkish, for example, or Italian or French, and this is obviously just and promotion to YouTubers and streamers is just a small part of the marketing plan that we're doing, and for example, this podcast, right? Also, we want to let people know about this project that are interested in blockchain tokens in general, but then again, it's very layered, and it's just a small part. Marketing and collaborating with the YouTube streamers and Twitch streamers, for example, we have much bigger plans.
Yeah, the answer to that, of course, is yes. We will be collaborating with those people. And in fact, I have another company in gaming that has relationships with all of the biggest gamers in the world, the biggest streamers, biggest YouTubers, and they are investors in this company. So so there's actually cross ownership between that company and this company. The biggest YouTubers and former YouTubers and streamers are part of that company, and many will be investing in this. They have invested in this company and will be joining the board as well. But as Justice is right, that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is going to be a game that's going to be promoted on every level, grassroots on to top streamers and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Now we're gonna go with the next question. It's about, I think it's directed to you, Jordan. So go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. So when you look at the Wall Street and the blockchain, what are the differences that you see between those two? And do you think that people from Wall Street are eventually all hopping onto the blockchain? From your perspective?
So on some level, I'm going to tell you the fundamental difference between crypto and Wall Street in terms of how money is raised and the engine and the logic behind venture capital. The reason there's so much money flowing into venture capital, which means money flowing into early stage crypto, that comes from VC money, right? The reason that people are so easily investing in this stuff is because the risks are much lower in a crypto deal than in a mainstream Wall Street deal, like a traditional non-blockchain deal. Why? Because when you're doing venture capital in a non-blockchain deal, if you invest in 10 deals, you'll probably have one huge winner. You'll have 2, maybe 3 deals do okay, make a little bit of money, and the rest will be losers that go bankrupt. You never get out. There's no exit ramp. In the case of blockchain, there's a built-in exit ramp to pretty much every deal. In other words, if you're getting into these things relatively early, they're all at least going to be on a decentralized exchange to get some liquidity. And you're also going to eventually probably get on a bigger exchange like a Coinbase or a Kraken or a Gate.io, right? Whatever it might be. So there's a much more fluid way to get out if you're a VC. That's one of the main reasons why there's so much money flowing into this space right now, because VCs can invest and they can afford to be not quite as right. Now, obviously, if a deal is just a piece of crap, right? Yeah, well, then you're not going to get out. But that's more like the exception to the rule in blockchain. I think what you're going to see happen with regulation coming in, and it's coming, and it's good, it needs to come, right? You're going to see some tightening up of how capital gets raised for blockchain deals. Right now, there's just a tremendous disparity. It's very, very easy to raise money for token deals and far more full of friction to raise money for fiat currency deals, right? That gap will probably close a little bit, but not much. I also see Wall Street loosening up and starting to actually mirror what's happening in the crypto world. So the crypto world, what they've really made it, they made it so easy to move money and fund projects. That's a fundamental difference that's really driving this massive amount of money coming into these early stage blockchain deals. Do I think that one day will it all be crypto? I think the answer to that is no, and I don't think that it should be. I think what you're going to see here is these two worlds running side by side. The way we have, like, for example, you have iPhone and you have Android, right? And if you go globally, you'll see there's a lot more Android telephones than there are iPhones. But iPhone is that sort of premier, that centralized solution. All things happen at Apple, right? And then you have Androids, more like your decentralized solution. Those two run side by side, and over time, those apps both have learned to talk to each other and coexist, right? And things, remember in the early days, if you had an iPhone, you couldn't use anything on Android. Now they've started to cross over, right? I think what you're going to see here is that over time that the DeFi, the decentralized aspects of finance, will far overtake centralized. I think you'll probably see 70% ultimately of all finance will be decentralized. And you'll still have those centralized institutions. You'll have strong on-ramps and off-ramps with a lot of KYCs, know your customers. And I think that's where this evolves. I don't think one lives, one dies. I think they run side by side for many, many years, if not forever.
Yeah, I think right here you just mentioned this one thing that a lot of people don't think about, the comparison between, Wall Street, traditional fundraising and blockchain fundraising is, that indeed when you fund a traditional company, that's fiat money. If it goes wrong, that money is gone. There's no way to, you have no token, you have no alternative currency that you can exchange in a decentralized exchange or centralized exchange. It's just gone.
That's
and at least in the
Yeah, JB has covered a lot of ground here. The only thing that I would add that I've seen from my experience at DIG, the person asked, what are the differences between, Wall Street and blockchain? Well, people, transfer and switch. I think when I'm looking at any kind of blockchain data, I'm not necessarily praying or focusing too much on the on-chain data. I'm not looking too much at the prices of Bitcoin. What I'm looking at is the intellectual capital. And what we've been seeing at DIG, people are knocking on our doors that are ex-investment bankers, that are the big tech firms from Google and Googles of the world. They want to work with us. They want to work on Web3 projects, because they understand the smart money, not even the smart money, but the smart people, the intellectual capital understands that this could be a revolutionary thing. It's not for certain. Nothing is for certain. But it seems, these people are making bets. Young people, young professionals that have tremendous careers ahead of them in the legacy world. They're saying, I'm going to take that risk and I'm going to go and work for the Web3 company. And, we've been seeing that at DIG. And that for me is very telling that this has a big chance of taking a lot of that total addressable market.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your insights on it. Most I'm pretty sure more than any of on the chat. So thank you for sharing it with us. And now going to the next question, you both said that you played a lot of games. How does Realms of Eternity compare to other existing MMORPGs? There will be a main quest line. Do we expect final bosses or final dungeons that will require clans or anything similar?
Yeah, so it's an open world game, and you'll be able, it's going to accommodate any type of player. If the player wants to, do the main quest and he wants to, he's an achiever and he wants to, kill the bosses, he'll be able to do that. There will be side quests. There will be opportunities for people just, to roam around, collect items, and then fight against bosses, kill monsters in specific maps, kill monsters on the ground. So that's basically player versus environment, but also there will be player versus player fights, which is like, for example, a legal fight like this. I love this concept in Realms of Eternity. So you will have a legal fight, which basically is consent. an agreement between two players to meet up and fight, and even like two clans or two guilds to meet up and fight. And then, you know, obviously the winners get the awards, and they get the awards from the losers. But also there will be illegal fights, so you will be able to raid villages or go in and take a fight with a player that does not have it's not going to be a consensual fight, but you'll be able to do that, and then you're going to be marked. If you kill a person, kill an avatar in the game, you'll be marked for 15 minutes, which means there's going to be a bounty on your head. You'll be hunted, and if you're going to be hunted down, you know, there will be no penalty, no legal penalty. So there's even like a judicial system in the realms of Ethernity. So I love that aspect. And you know, if you decide to be the bad guy of the game, start killing other players, and that's happening constantly, you're going to be marked with a red mark, which means it's going to be much harder for you to get rid of that, and all of the players will be trying to hunt you because there's going to be a bounty on your head. So that is extremely exciting. So this is just one part of the game that we differentiate from others.
Yeah, these are very interesting aspects, you know, like the PvP, you know, and like a notoriety kind of thing, you know, when you kill another person, you know, you get this mark, you know, you either become orange first after 1 kill, red after 2 kills, something like that, you know, and then people can hunt you, and then once you get killed, you know, as a murderer, you may drop items, you know, stuff like that. That's a really good thing. So I was thinking we do one more question for you guys. I'm hoping this one is going to be aimed at Jordan. So that's a bit of more time with us.
Okay, the last question. Jordan, to finish, can you maybe share what you like the most of working with Justas and all the Realms of Eternity team? And also, what do you think of the blockchain in the mobiles? Because I don't know if Realms of Eternity will be on the mobile or only on PC. So what do you think of the mobile and the instead of the PC blockchain gaming?
Yeah, I'll just chip in for a second that this is going to be on PC first, but of course, you know, the vision, the long-term vision is to get the players that are also on mobile.
Yeah,
PC games are the best, I would say.
I think of Realms of 30, so I'll tell you, it's interesting. You're gonna laugh. So I'm a consultant around the world, right? And I consult with really big companies. I consult with small startups as well, if they're funded, right? And it needs to be well funded. We'll have an incredible technology. What I see often is I will give people advice, and they'll say thank you, and they won't follow the advice. They're not coachable. And that's a huge problem for people that are young and think they know everything, right? Because I'm older, I don't know everything. But one thing about this team is they're incredibly coachable. And you know, if you say, hey, you're just, trust me, you're just heading in the wrong direction. All right, great, boom. That's a crucial aspect to work with Realms, and one of the reasons why I've stepped up my involvement. I first dipped my toe in the water, and then I've gotten increasingly more involved as I've watched them actually take ideas, not from myself, but from my partners, and really just, show a proclivity to be, act like adults in the room, not to act like children that are emotionally attached to an idea. And that's critical in a company that's early stage like this, right? And that's, moving fast. They have to be coachable. It's number one. Number two is they're generous. They're not trying to say, hey, we want to hold this all for ourselves. And because of that, they've attracted amazing people. And this is important. In other words, they've built this world-class team really, really quickly. Why? By giving away a big piece of the pie to other people coming in. And that same mentality is carrying through to how the players are going to make money and earn. And it's really the sort of economy that's very much not centered on the founders getting rich and no one else making money. So I think that's the main point I like about this team. They're coachable, they're not greedy, they have a long-term outlook in mind, and they also Justice came onto the team later. And they've just recruited great people. So Justice wasn't there when I first got there, and I did an event in Dubai for the company. Justice attended, and bam, so they're snapping up this great talent, and I think that's really, really important. When you're moving fast, you got to build a team quickly, and they've made great strategic hires in the last few months. So I think all in all, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 as far as young management, moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
So I think we can wrap it up here. Remember, guys, to join the giveaway, and thanks to Jordan and Justus for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to meet both of you. And Steph, you want to say something you think we may have missed or anything, or Marcus, you want to say something? Just go ahead.
I just want to say a big thanks for Jordan and Justus for being here with us tonight. I think it was extremely special for all of us. I'm sorry, especially Jordan for being with us here, promoting Realms of Eternity, sharing part of his life with us, his ideas, his vision for blockchain gaming. So I want to express specific thanks to you for being here with us tonight. I'm going to wish you a lot of luck with the development and building this dream team, this winner team. And I'm quite sure that it's going to happen. Looking at what you guys have told us tonight, what you have in mind, how you're thinking about the development. And one thing that I would like not to forget that I really like what you said is, you need to have a coachable team, which is like, in my opinion, also the number one priority. You're building a project, you need to have someone that can coach, and someone that can listen to all those lessons in order to develop and grow. So I think with that attitude, you guys are going to set up a massive and good project here. So once again, thanks. If you want to add something, some final words to us or the viewers, or for anyone that's watching later, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think a lot of things have been said, and all I have to say is that everybody has to do their job. Our job is going to go. We're going to go back to work developing the game, and for your community, the job is to do their research, and the research of the game they can do in realmsofeternity.com. And feel free to reach out. Feel free to ask us questions. We're open. Our community is 70,000 strong. And growing. So if we can, get some people from Seedify to go on there, ask questions, feel free. We're building a family. We're building a game. We're building a legacy. We're building Realms of Eternity.
Okay. So thank you. We're gonna put the trailer of Realms of Eternity for everyone that wants to stay and watch it. So thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Justus. Hope to see you soon again, and enjoy the evening. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.